All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for all of those who are tuning in. This session is being recorded, so you can go back and watch it again. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out and let me know. All right, so my name is Hannah Martin. I'm the University of Arizona campus recruiter. I was also a Peace Corps volunteer from 2016 to 2018 in Benin, West Africa. I served in the education sector, so I was teaching English as a foreign language at a middle school. But I also had secondary projects that included health-related topics such as nutrition and reproductive health, as well as gender equality. In Benin, the local language is Bariba, but I spoke French at school. So the Peace Corps has been around for quite a while. It was established by President John F. Kennedy on March 1st, 1961. So we're actually celebrating 59 years of the Peace Corps. And this year was pretty exciting too, because the University of Arizona is ranked number 17 on the large school list for producing most volunteers. And all-time number for alumni of the University of Arizona who have served as Peace Corps volunteers is 1,699 volunteers. So that's really great as well. But what is the Peace Corps? Peace Corps service is a unique competitive two-year opportunity to serve abroad at the grassroots level. So Peace Corps volunteers are invited to serve on a particular project in their host community, which aligns with Peace Corps goals. And the Peace Corps' mission is to promote world peace and friendship. And then the three goals are to help the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women. So this is, training your counterparts and other teachers or healthcare workers that you're working with on your project. And the second goal is to help promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served. So a cultural exchange, you want people in your host community to know how Americans live and what American values are, and that all Americans are different. And then also the third goal, to help promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans. So also returning home, letting your loved ones and your family and friends know how people around the world live as well. So like I said, in the Peace Corps, you'll be living, learning, and working with a community overseas. All volunteer positions are invited, so you're invited to work on a specific project with your community. The community has already identified what project you'll be working on, as well as some of the people that you'll be working with. Peace Corps, like I said, is also 2 years of service. This includes 3 months of training, and then the following full 24 months of service. And to be considered for volunteer service, you should meet the minimum qualifications, which are that you are at least 18 years of age, you are a US citizen, and there are also specific qualifications based on the different job openings available as well. But as long as you're at least 18 years old, a US citizen, and you meet the basic qualifications for the position you're applying for, I'm here on campus to help you tailor your resume and help you prepare in any way possible, really, for Peace Corps service. So the number of current volunteers, there's currently 7,000 volunteers, though I'm sure you've heard they've been recently evacuated temporarily, and over 225,000 volunteers who have served all time. So that's really great as well. There's a really great network of returned Peace Corps volunteers to reach out to once you're done with service as well. And as you can see, volunteers range in age from 20 to 86 years old, so there's no limit to when you can serve. You can be right out of college or you can be retiring. It's really for everyone. Okay, with the Peace Corps, you can serve in one of 6 concentrations. This can be agriculture, youth and development, education, the environment, health, or community economic development. And this kind of determines what your main project will be while you're working with the Peace Corps. So an agriculture volunteer might work in a community garden or with a nonprofit on working on sustainability practices and other things to improve productivity. The youth and development volunteer might be working with a local school, same thing with an education volunteer, teaching courses, working on clubs. And a health volunteer might be working in a health center or at a hospital, working with healthcare workers on maternal and child health, HIV-related projects, etc. But then even though all volunteers have a primary area that they're working in, all volunteers also complete what we call secondary projects, which match your own interests as well as the need of your community. So even though I was an education volunteer teaching English at a middle school, I also completed health projects related to reproductive health because teenage pregnancy was an issue identified by my school that they wanted me to help with. As you can see, education is one of our largest sectors, followed by health, but community, economic development, environment, youth and development, and agriculture sectors are all growing, especially the agriculture sector. We're always looking for qualified volunteers to fill these positions. You can serve in over 60 countries around the world with the Peace Corps. This includes Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, Eastern Europe, Asia, the Pacific Islands. So really based on your language background, the area of or concentration that you want to work in with the Peace Corps, kind of your interests and where we have the most positions open, you can serve around the world. I will say that Latin America and the Caribbean typically require at least an intermediate level of Spanish for service, but Peace Corps considers 2 university level semesters of Spanish to be at the intermediate level. So as long as you completed 2 semesters of Spanish at the university level, Peace Corps considers you to be an intermediate Spanish speaker. For Africa, some of the countries require that you have some background in a Romance language, so that could be Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese. But then for Asia, Eastern Europe, and the Pacific Islands, it's more likely that there is no language requirement. Okay, this is just a slide showing some of the examples of our current openings. Our next application deadline is April 1st. I would highly encourage you to apply before then if you are graduating or considering joining the Peace Corps. So as you can see, there's an English teacher and teacher trainer, community gardening and agroforestry, maternal and child health, and HIV/AIDS educators. Like I said, a wide variety of options for different people. You will also notice that even though the application deadline is for April 1st, these positions won't actually depart for your country of service until September, October, August, September, October of this year. These dates might also be subject to change given the current circumstances, but Peace Corps is working to return volunteers to host countries as soon as it's safe to do so. There are also many benefits to service, Peace Corps service. You receive a living stipend, housing, medical and dental coverage. You're able to defer any student loans you might have. You get paid vacation time, which I think comes to about 48 days of paid vacation. And then you get really detailed technical, cultural, and language training, which looks great on a resume after your service and really prepares you for your future career. And then after service, there are great benefits as well. All volunteers who complete the 2 years of service receive what we call transition funds, which is the amount of about $8,000, which can be used however you like once you return to the United States. There are also wonderful graduate school benefits, which include the Paul D. Coverdell Fellowship or scholarships at various universities. Like I said, with over 220,000 returned Peace Corps volunteers, there's great professional networking and career services available for returned volunteers. There are federal employment advantages. After your 2 years of Peace Corps service, you get what's called non-competitive eligibility, which allows you to apply for a federal position and be considered at a quicker pace than others. You're also able to forgive some of your public service loans, and afterwards you also have, again, access to affordable health insurance. Okay, so if you are considering applying now, or even just to give you an idea of what the application process kind of looks like, I highly recommend reaching out to myself to get tips on the resume, the interview process, just other tips and tricks in general. But the first step is going to be really to go on to the peacecorps.gov website and just kind of browse the openings. And so look at where you're interested in going, what sector you think you'd like to do, and yeah, see what the required skills are to make sure that you're qualified. After that, you fill out the application. The application itself only takes about an hour as long as you have your resume and references ready to go. Like I said, I'm here to help you with your resume. It should be about 2 to 3 pages in length, and we will have a application workshop next Wednesday, March 19th, from 5 to 6:30 to go over the application in more detail. Then after you fill out your application, you'll be emailed a health history form. This is just a brief form to make sure that you're eligible to receive, serve in the country that you're applying for, after which you may be offered an interview. Then after your interview, if the country would like to offer you a position, you will receive an invitation. And it's at this time that you'll go through the medical and legal clearances, which involve seeing your doctor, getting any necessary shots, doing fingerprinting, things like that. If everything goes through, then you'll complete onboarding about 2 months prior to your departure. This includes some brief online training and maybe some other activities to complete before you actually depart. The application process as a whole does take some time. It's good to think about 9 to 12 months ahead of when you would like to depart for service is when you should start your application and submit. So for example, here looking at this graph, if you apply by January 1st, you should know by March 1st whether you have been offered a position or not, but then you won't depart until July, August, or September of that year. So with this next April 1st deadline, everyone should know by about June 1st whether they've been offered a position, but then won't actually leave for their country of service until October, November, December. So my advice to you would be to make sure that you're getting your application in early. The Peace Corps application is on a rolling basis, so as soon as you get your application in, you're able to be considered for different positions. And the longer you wait, the more people that will be ahead of you. Also, to make yourself the most competitive applicant possible, it's important to look at the featured openings on the website, as those have typically less people applying for them, so you can increase your odds that way. Also, if you have no preference about which position to apply for, I highly recommend as well applying for the Serve Where Needed Most application. This is just the general application. You're still able to put your preferences of where you'd like to go or what concentration you'd like to work in, but this really shows Peace Corps that you're flexible and helps them find a spot for you to serve. Also, for those of you who aren't ready to apply for the Peace Corps but are still interested in getting involved, we also have what's called the Peace Corps Prep Program here on campus. And the Peace Corps Prep Program is not too involved. You complete some volunteer hours, maybe an internship, and some coursework that shows Peace Corps that you're internationally minded and a competitive Peace Corps applicant. So it's open to all University of Arizona undergrads of any major, and you will receive a Peace Corps Prep certificate upon completion that you can actually upload to your Peace Corps application. If you'd like more information, the website is listed there. Otherwise, I highly recommend reaching out to the Peace Corps Prep Coordinator, Tammy Orr, and her information is also located on the slides. Currently, we also have the application for the Peace Corps Campus Ambassador open, and this is working on campus to increase kind of the visibility of Peace Corps. And you'll be working with myself as well as the Arizona regional recruiter on different events for Peace Corps and just helping get the word out and advertising Peace Corps here on campus. This is also a great leadership opportunity. Looks great on a resume as well as a Peace Corps application. So if you'd like more information, I will be holding virtual office hours for the remainder of the semester, or you can reach out to me via email anytime. My contact information is listed here on this slide. It's pcore@cals.arizona.edu. I'd be happy to set up a time to meet over Zoom or the phone. And then there's the contact information for our Peace Corps Prep Coordinator, Tammy Orr, who's wonderful, and her email is peacecorpsprep@email.arizona.edu. And there again is the link for the Peace Corps website, which has more information about Peace Corps Prep Program requirements, as well as Peace Corps here on campus and upcoming events. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Otherwise, I will stop the recording so that we can